Welcome back to the Suits and Laterals pod. I'm Mitch Gatsky. He's Evan Skilleter. How are you, bud?
Hi, good. How are you?
I can't lie to you, I'm a little heated.
Little heated. Tell me why.
Well, I just take issue with a lot of the things that are going on in the NFL right now, and I'll get into it later. You'll see.
There are more important things to worry about than some of the
Oh, sure. I mean,
hot
personally,
issues.
as far as personal life, couldn't be better. Just got back from Texas, had a great time down there. Dallas Fort Worth area. Had a little bit of trouble getting out of there on Sunday night with the storms rolling through, but
Tell me about your travel situation.
well, I was scheduled to fly out Sunday night late, about 8:30. So, they want you to get to the airport way early. I don't buy into all that. I like to get there an hour before you're supposed to board. And you board, half hour before off. So I get there around that time and get through security and it's all good. And basically they keep delaying. Finally get canceled. Luckily, I was able to get a ride back and a place to stay for the night, so I did not have to stay in the airport, which was huge for me because I don't think I could have slept in the airport around a bunch of strangers. But yeah, it all ended up working out, but just more stress than I was really hoping to deal with on Sunday night.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. So did you get to watch any football in the airport?
Oh yeah. That was my saving grace, the fact that the Steelers and the Chiefs were playing at that time. We'll get to that, but I want to start. Let's just go in order here. I want to start with the Falcons and the Seahawks. Falcons win 36-20. And Evan, I'm so upset that I flip-flopped on this last week when we revised our picks, man, because I missed out on picking up a game on you. You stuck with the Seahawks. I originally had the Falcons, switched to the Seahawks. Of course, Falcons win, and I feel like an idiot.
Well, not my problem. I mean,
the game. How did the Falcons take hold of this game? Because the Seahawks came out and scored right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, we knew who the Falcons were going in. They're a pass-heavy team that had two running backs that could they could run in, they could pass or catch out of the backfield. There were no surprises with what the Falcons did. I think the surprise for me was just the fact that the Seahawks defense couldn't stop them. Now I know there were injuries in the defensive secondary. I get that, but I just thought the Seahawks would be able to maintain contain that passing game, and they couldn't. And there were no surprises on the offensive side of the ball for the Seahawks. The offensive line couldn't block. They have a bunch of cupcakes up there up front that can't do the job for Russ Wilson, and that results in a tough game when you're playing against a team like the Falcons that can score points.
So my favorite thing, the one thing that I am happy about and put a smile on my face from over the weekend, and I got to send a shout out to Future, who used to date and had a son with Sierra, who is, of course, now married to Russell Wilson. So Falcons beat the Seahawks, and I guess from reading this story, you can check it out in the notes. It sounds like minutes after this game finished, Future ordered a bunch of Falcons jerseys, Matt Ryan jerseys, sent them to Russell Wilson and Sierra's house for his son. I find that absolutely hilarious. What do you think?
I mean, it's whatever to me. I think it's funny, but at the same time, you put yourself in Russ Wilson's shoes. It's like, hey, man, get over it.
Sure, but I mean,
you obviously haven't moved on, or you're holding some kind of grudge. Just relax and drop it. But whatever. It's funny. It doesn't affect me at all. But I think if it did affect me, I'd be pretty pissed off if I was in Russ Wilson's shoes.
So the Patriots beat the Texans 34-16 on Saturday night. And Evan, as poorly as the Pats played and as close as this game seemed to be, it never really was. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, everything I listened to leading up to that game had the Texans covering the first half spread, which I don't know what the spread was, but everyone seemed to think the Texans would keep it close in the first half, and that's exactly what they did. But they have probably the worst quarterback that makes more than $2 million a year on their team. I'll tell you what, Brock Osweiler is I'm sorry, but he's garbage. He throws the ball. He throws a Randy Johnson fastball every time he hits a receiver. Every pass is 99 miles per hour. There's no touch on that guy's pass. He's awkward, and people. I'm not going to pretend to be an NFL quarterback expert, but from what I hear from just about everyone I listen to, he has a terrible arm or passing angle, and
Right.
a lot of people say that can't be corrected. I've not heard anyone say otherwise, so I'm going to buy that as well. So he's just a terrible quarterback.
So it sounds like you would, if you were the Texans, you would pursue another quarterback in the offseason. Do you think they will?
I'd be shocked if they didn't. I mean, that's a terrible situation to be in if you think that you're going to stick with a guy that is that bad. I mean, if it wasn't for the Texans defense, they might have won 3 games this season. You have to take your hat off for their defense, but offensively, if they don't get that quarterback situation figured out, they're going nowhere.
So Tony Romo? Wouldn't that be interesting? Would that be?
Yeah, Tony Romo would be a fit anywhere he goes. It's just one of those. If I'm an NFL GM, I'm probably not going after Tony Romo or at least not overpaying for Tony Romo because, if he gets hit, I heard this the other day. He has been hurt 2 of the last 3 times he's been hit. And I thought about it, and that's literally the case. Yeah. Two out of the last 3 times that he was hit, he's been hurt. So that's a wild card. You can go after him for the right price and give it a shot because I do think he'll help a team as long as he's healthy. But you got to be careful.
The other thing that I noticed from this game, this Patriots-Texans game, how do you feel about Tom Brady lobbying the officials for calls? Because it seemed like he did a lot of complaining on Saturday night about hits, late or not, that he sustained during that game.
Well, it's not my style. I mean, there are a lot of guys that are like that, and there are a lot of guys that are the complete opposite, and they get hit and they get back up and they go on to the next play. Tom Brady, he is definitely a complainer. LeBron James is a complainer. He likes to complain to the officials. There are probably a couple other ones out there that are obvious that I'm missing, but if that's his game, he's still a great quarterback. He's still winning games, so he can do it as much as he wants. But that's not my style. What do you think?
Well, I think it's something that we've only started to see more recently with him. He sustained that injury a couple of years ago, was out for the whole season, and I think that made him look a lot more closely at basically his mortality and the fact that he doesn't probably have 5 years left. He's, that might be it for him. I think it's a bad look for him, and it's pretty unnecessary because he does end up getting the majority of the calls that could be made. So yeah, I mean, I understand where he's coming from because I think just where the league is, there's a lot of hidden yards in penalties on the quarterback. He knows that, and he's going to do everything he can to get his team in the best position to win, but I don't really feel like it's necessary for him to do it.
Sure. And like I said, it annoys the crap out of me, but if that's who he is and that's how he wants to play, then so be it. But speaking of bad calls, what about let's say speaking of debated calls, how about the end of the Steelers-Chiefs game?
Pump the brakes.
Why, man? We can
Because
go.
that was the Sunday night game. I want to get to the
Yeah,
Sunday afternoon game.
but it was the perfect segue.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of Tony Romo, his Dallas Cowboys lost a stunner to the Green Bay Packers, 34-31 at the buzzer. Evan, at this point, is there anything that Aaron Rodgers can't do
My gosh.
on the football field, at least?
No, I don't think so. Although I guess I haven't seen him kick a football yet.
That'd be interesting. I think he'd make it
yeah.
at this point.
Yeah, I think, was it Doug Flutie that had a PAT once in his career?
Oh, I don't know. That's before my time.
Just so he could say he has done it all. I vaguely remember Doug Flutie, just very, very vaguely. But anyway, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are just, at the moment, just absolutely unstoppable. You know, that offense, with or without Jordy Nelson, is just absolutely unbelievable. What week was it where he said they weren't going to lose another game?
And the last week that they lost, which would be week 9 or 10, I believe, because they rattled off 6 in a row to finish the season, and now the 2 playoff games. So it's been 8 undefeated for the Packers, and Rodgers has, 1 pick in that time?
Right. And how crazy is that, how a guy can just say, we're not going to lose again, and then they don't lose again. He's just been lights out, phenomenal.
It's been so awesome to watch. It might possibly be the greatest run that we've ever seen a quarterback go on. I mean, I'm thinking back, and like not even my guy Joe Flacco can even come close to measuring up to this, that playoff run that he had. I mean, what Aaron Rodgers is doing right now, it's absolutely unbelievable, because his team really ain't that great. You take Aaron Rodgers off that team and you put just about any other quarterback on that team, and I don't think they're here. I don't really even think they'd make the playoffs.
Did you know that Aaron Rodgers has a perfect passer rating, or had a perfect passer rating outside of the pocket?
Okay. Well, I mean,
so
yeah, that's the thing. We've seen him be able to, with the quick release inside the pocket, and also extending plays, rolling out, finding guys downfield on the scramble drills. It's just amazing. There is no way to stop him right now. There isn't.
Absolutely. I feel bad for Dak and the Cowboys for running into that buzzsaw, because I truly do feel like the Cowboys are one of the best 4 teams in the NFL. And look at what they did to the Packers. Dak Prescott, the rookie, was able to basically match Rodgers throw for throw. Not even all day. They had a terrible first half, excuse me. Fans were starting to wonder, are we going to see Romo? Is this spot too big for Dak? And then all of a sudden, here comes Dak firing back. And I didn't mean to rhyme there, but it sounded cool. And
you meant it. Don't lie. You meant it.
Yeah, Dak firing back. And he was able to lead his team, come from behind, tie it up at the end, and just left too much time on the clock, which is no fault of theirs. In that situation, you have to get the points on the board.
Right.
And they unfortunately suffer a loss, but I'm really excited to see Dak's future.
So as I said, I'm pretty heated just about the NFL in general, and one of the main reasons why it's this story that keeps coming up about Aaron Rodgers and his family issues. When it first came out, it was made out to be this huge deal, and now it seems like it's not that big of a deal, really, and clearly it's not affecting his performance, at least negatively. It might be motivating him, actually. But his father comes out and says, fame can change things. Well, yeah, dude. But just the fact that this is out in the public and we're even discussing this is totally ridiculous. This is a personal issue between the family, and it keeps being brought up. And I don't see it going anywhere, especially if the Packers keep winning.
Well, look, TMZ is unfortunately a huge part of some people's lives. There are people out there that live for the dirty laundry, and they live for the personal life, or to dig into the personal life of their favorite athlete, or not even their favorite, but just any famous person. And it really is too bad because I truly don't care. I love the sports, the personal stuff. If it's not funny, then I don't care about it. Delonte West and LeBron James and that whole saga in Cleveland, that was funny. I could deal with that.
LeBron doesn't think it's funny.
Hopefully he doesn't listen to the show. Well, hopefully he does actually. But anyway,
That'd be cool.
It doesn't necessarily make me mad. It's not something that not something I get worked up about when I hear that stuff, but it's definitely something that I don't care about and I could do without. I don't know. Why is it that people are so obsessed with the personal lives of others, particularly famous people?
I really have no idea, but I think you hit the nail on the head when you started making your point. People do seem to care almost more about these guys off the field than on the field. And we got a good example of the players feeding into that. And we can now transition into the Steelers-Chiefs game. And I think you know what I'm talking about. We'll get to Antonio Brown's Facebook Live video. But first of all, Evan, you're a Steelers guy. You have been all year. You already picked them to beat the Pats. So does the fact that they couldn't find the end zone last weekend worry you whatsoever?
Slightly, but I think the Chiefs have a better defense than the Patriots do. And I still think that the Steelers will be okay. Yeah, there's something about that team that just isn't right. But it's not
the Chiefs, you
detrimental. No, the Steelers.
The Steelers. Okay.
Think about it. I mean, Mike Tomlin's had he's had Ben Roethlisberger for 11. Well, not him personally, but the Steelers have had Ben Roethlisberger for umpteen years, and Antonio Brown's one of the top two receiver in the NFL. Le'Veon Bell's great. They have a couple offensive linemen who can really play. Marquise Pouncey, outstanding. And
Castro. The guard DeCastro. That's my guy.
Okay. Right. And then they have that Villanueva as well.
Yeah, him too.
Thank you for your service. Anyway.
That's right.
What I'm trying to say is they've had such a great team for 10 years, so much talent, and they've won two Super Bowls with Roethlisberger?
Just the one, I believe.
Just one against Atlanta?
Wait, no.
Not Atlanta, but Phoenix, Arizona.
Right, and then they also beat the Seahawks. So, yeah, two.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. So 2 Super Bowls, but they have so much talent on that offense, and it's got to click and got to come together eventually. You can, obviously, win a game without scoring touchdowns.
You can't rely on that happening, though.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know what it is about them and having games like that, but I truly believe that they're better than – well, I believe they'll play better than the Patriots and win the ball game.
All right, next, I want to make it known that I absolutely adore the passion that Mike Tomlin coaches with, and I have zero issue with him calling the Patriots some assholes. I see where he's coming from, and I think he's kind of right in a lot of ways. But I know a lot of people that are real sensitive these days, and I just want to tell them to grow up. I've heard more offensive comments from a 6th grader, and I don't know why everybody's so worked up about Tomlin dropping the A word a couple of times.
Look, man, now's not a good time to ask me about sensitivity because I actually, right before I left work, had a conversation with some coworkers. It was a private conversation. It was fine, but a conversation about the sensitivity of people and how I'm fed up with it. Yeah, I'll just get into it. We have plenty of time. So basically what fired me up was, this is completely off topic, but there's a new high school going in Lexington, Kentucky. It's called Frederick Douglass High School. And they're in Lexington, Kentucky, horse country. And so their mascot is the stallion. Mm-hmm. Let me rephrase that. It was the stallion.
Okay.
So when they came out with their mascot, they had a nice logo. It was a horse, green and orange colors, and they were the Stallions. Well, someone decided to start a petition to change the mascot. You know why? Because the stallion is not gender inclusive. A stallion is a male horse, not a female horse or any gender horse. So someone decided that they were going to petition the school because the mascot wasn't gender inclusive. So guess what? They won the petition, and they are taking the stallion mascot away. And not only that, but they're letting the students decide in the fall what the mascot is. So that infuriated me. And I don't want to get too deep into that situation because that's obviously not what the show's about. But I'm with you on the sensitivity. Like, just relax. Have some thick skin. It doesn't even affect any of us, what Mike Tomlin said.
Right.
Calling another team, another coach, asshole. And it didn't even affect the other team. Belichick doesn't care. Brady doesn't care. None of those guys care. But all of a sudden, we all care. And I'm sick and tired of it, man.
So, yeah, my issue, not with Tomlin or his comments, because we shouldn't really even know that he said that. That's big true. Issue, Brown. Now, what do you make of his Facebook Live video in the locker room after the game on Sunday night?
That's not the place for it. And here's the issue. The issue is that he posted the video or started the video while Tomlin was talking to the team, addressing the team. That's not the time and place for a Facebook Live video. Okay. Now, if Tomlin's finished talking and you want to post a video of you and your teammates being excited and happy, fine. You know, that's your prerogative. But your coach is having a private conversation with you and your team, trying to get you ready for the next game. You can't do that at that point, and that's not okay.
Man, how conceited is this guy? I mean, really, how full of yourself do you have to be to do this? Besides the fact that what he did was actually against the law, it's just dumb. He's standing there spinning around, grinning like he just snuck some cookies out of the jar while mom looked away or something. It's a total lack of respect by not even pretending to pay attention to Tomlin while he's addressing the team after a big win. Brown is lucky that he's so good and his team needs him so desperately, because if not, he'd be suspended this weekend. And he should be suspended for week 1 next year. And I really hope that happens, because this is... Well, go ahead.
Sorry. Well, I don't think that'll happen. I don't disagree with you that he should be suspended. But, you know, if it wasn't the playoffs, he would be. But they're not going to suspend him for next year and let him play 1 or 2 games between now and then. Look,
I think that's what needs to happen. Because, I mean, beyond all that, this is also a huge violation of trust in that locker room. Your boy, Doug Gottlieb on Twitter. This is another one of the things that made me smile this week. One of the few things. Antonio Brown, he tweeted, Antonio Brown, D'Angelo Russelled the Steelers.
I did see that. Yeah, that was good.
How great is that?
Yeah, that was perfect.
And the thing is, this situation is 10 times worse than what happened with the Lakers. What was it, last year? And
it was last year.
Less outrage about this Antonio Brown situation than we saw with D'Angelo Russell. Why is that?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Maybe it's because the Steelers are about to play in the AFC Championship game, and the Lakers won 2 games last year, which is an exaggeration. But and D'Angelo Russell was a rookie. People could kind of, I mean, to say they understood why he did it is probably misspeaking. But right. people got the fact that he's 19 years old and makes mistakes. And he was isolated by his whole team after the incident. In this case, Antonio Brown's a guy that wears customized cleats even though he gets fined. He does rude celebrations in the end zone even though he gets fined. And then, like you said, clearly a self-centered move in the locker room after the game. So I think people are a little more upset that that Brown is such an arrogant person.
And yes, to answer your question a while ago, that was holding on the 2 point conversion, and the Chiefs really have no one to blame but themselves. They could have still made a stop on that third down where Antonio Brown caught the pass, got the first down. Steelers were able to run the clock out. If the Chiefs defend that pass, they get the ball right back in a pretty good position with the decent amount of time left. So,
Absolutely. That was absolutely a holding call. And
yeah,
for Kelsey to come out after the game and say the things that he said, he should be the one that's suspended for the first game of next year. Because not only did he say that shouldn't have been a holding call, that referee is bad, he was awful. He went beyond the line. He said that referee should never wear stripes again. He shouldn't even work in Foot Locker. Good try trying to be clever, Travis Kelsey, but you turned out just to be an asshole.
yeah.
Absolutely atrocious thing to say to a referee or about a referee that made the correct call. And perhaps I give people the benefit of the doubt too much, but initially my thought was, well, hopefully Kelsey is just defending his teammate, and maybe his teammate's down and he's trying to make his teammate feel a little bit better. But these are men, like these are adults. Okay, so give me a break. If you want to defend your teammate, you say, look, that kind of stuff happens. That's too bad. It might not have been a hold, but we're going to rally together. He's going to be all right, and we're going to go on to next year, and we're going to dominate. You don't say that stuff about the referee. Absolutely awful. Should get a hefty fine. Should be suspended. And if I'm a referee, I'm not throwing another pass interference flag his way for a while.
All right, Evan, let's get to the business. We've got 3 games left in the NFL season. 4 if you want to count the Pro Bowl. I don't know.
I don't count the Pro Bowl.
No.
I don't even watch. I don't even know when the Pro Bowl's on.
No, I don't think anybody does. But this weekend, this Sunday, 3:05 Eastern time on Fox, Packers at Falcons. Let's get into it, Ev.
Packers.
That's simple.
Yeah, I mean, it's who in their right mind's picking against Rodgers right now? You are?
I don't know. No, I'm definitely not. But if the Falcons, let's say the Falcons are going to win this game, how do they do it? What do they have to do?
They have to score a lot of points. I'm talking they're going to have to put up 42 against the Packers because Rodgers is going to match Ryan throw for throw, step for step, yard for yard, and probably throw a Hail Mary or two just for shits and giggles. And it's going to be all over. I think that the Packers secondary is susceptible, I suppose. So we honestly might see a game that ends 42-40 or 42-39.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm expecting, a total shootout. I mean, the Falcons defense, I think, doesn't get enough credit. They do rush the passer pretty well. But
so
yeah, exactly. Like exactly. Aaron Rodgers has proven that he can just step up in the pocket and make a throw quite easily. So I do think this is the Packers to lose here, despite the fact that they are on the road in one of the tougher places to play in the NFL, against obviously a very good team with a guy who many would pick as the MVP in the NFL this year. But yeah, I got to go with the Packers. Can you give a score for me? Are you sticking with 42-40 or 39?
Yeah, actually, let me go.
Let's get a final answer, an official pick here.
Yeah, let me go 42-35 Packers.
42-35. Okay, so no field goals.
Nah.
All right. I'm going to go Packers over the Falcons, and I'm going to say 37-20 to 30. 37-20. 37-30. 37-30. Yeah. And I'm really curious what the betting line is going to be on this, because I think the Falcons will actually end up being favored. I think Vegas will take the Falcons, but I have to imagine that a lot of people placing their money on this game will be putting it on Aaron Rodgers and the Packers.
Yeah, I think the Falcons get the edge because they're the home team, and that would be the only reason. Um, but it's very tough to pick against the Packers. So, um, taking the Packers. Did you get any games on me last week, or did you?
I did not, man. Let me tell you. So, so I already mentioned that I was so disappointed in myself with flipping from the Falcons to the Seahawks. And then, of course, I really wanted to go with the Packers. You'll remember last weekend, but I stuck with the Cowboys, and that ended up killing me too. So it's like, man, I could have caught up to you last week. We could be even, but
So I
instead,
have I have two right.
I think you've won. I mean, we both just went with the Packers,
Yeah.
and
Well, I mean, if I'm up two and we just
you're up
both
two,
picked
and
the
there's three
Packers,
games left, but you
we
only
could tie
we yeah, we could, I guess.
because I know you're going to take the Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, if the Patriots win out, then I think I might have a chance. I'm not sure, man. I'm not a math guy at all.
I'll probably go with the safety pick next round, though. I'll pick whoever you pick, so it's even.
I like
Do you
that.
think the Patriots? Do you think the Patriots will win?
I like that strategy. I do think the Patriots will win, but um, yeah, let's do the AFC game now, and then we can. I just want to mention something about the possible Super Bowl that we could see. So
Okay.
Steelers at Patriots. That's going to be Sunday night, 6:40 Eastern on CBS. I know you got the Steelers, but tell me how they beat the Patriots. How are they going to do it?
They just score a lot of points, and the defense is starting to come together. I think Tom Brady will have some pressure on him, and I don't think the Patriots will. I think the Patriots will score, but I'll take the Steelers 31-21.
Okay. I'll take the Patriots, and I don't know. For some reason, I'm feeling like weather's going to be an issue on Sunday evening, and I'm going to go a little bit low scoring. I'm going to go 24 to 18.
Okay, fun game then.
Fun game. But yeah,
Okay.
possible Super Bowl matchup. You obviously just picked the Steelers, so you would prefer to not see this happen. But Evan, I got to tell you, I want so badly to see Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady. These are clearly the two top guys, two top quarterbacks in the league now that Peyton Manning has retired. And it's really, I think, the next logical matchup when we look at those classic quarterback duels that we've seen for the past however many years. I think this is just the next one, and I'm really hoping that we get to see it.
Okay. I kind of am looking forward to a Packers Steelers rematch. I mean, that was a really fun Super Bowl. Was it 4, 5, 6 years ago? So I mean, that's something that I would love to see. I think you can't go wrong with
wait. Packers Steelers in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, Packers beat the Steelers.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah,
I can't remember the year, but it was a couple years back.
Man, don't they all just blend together?
Yeah, they kind of do.
Anyway, continue. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I was like, wait.
No,
a
that's
second.
okay. That's okay. That's all I really have to say about it. But I also want to mention, I looked back at my notes. Let's see. Just the first episode notes where we did the season preview.
Yeah, way back in September, early September.
Yeah, and I just want to make it known that I had initially said that the Steelers and Patriots would be the team to beat.
Yeah.
And I had the Packers. Now, this didn't happen exactly like this, but I did have the Packers as the top seed in the NFC. So if you take out the first 6 or 7 weeks of the season, the Packers have definitely been the best team in the NFC. So
yeah, they've certainly morphed into the top seed.
I just want to mention that. I will say, for full disclosure, that I started to pick the Raiders and think that the Raiders would have a shot at the Patriots. But once the Raiders dropped out, it was back to the Steelers. So I just want to throw that in there.
Shameless plug. I like it. Evan, let's get out of here.
Do you have bowling tonight?
I do have bowling, and I got to get out there. I missed last week, so the boys need me. And, yeah, I got to go.
Yeah.
Catch me on Twitter at Great Gatsky. Tip handsomely, say your please and thank yous, and support your local businesses. Evan, I'll see you next week, bud.
All right, get me on Twitter, Evan Skilleter. And until next time, stay right and stay real. Take it easy.